The Arctic wind, a relentless predator, howled with a ferocity that seemed to tear at the very fabric of existence. Anya Volkov, her face a map of weathered lines and unwavering determination, hunched over the drone's control panel. The landscape before her, once a solid, unyielding expanse of ice, was now a fractured, treacherous puzzle, a stark visual representation of the world's warming crisis. The drone's feed displayed a scene that made her heart clench. A young polar bear cub, barely a year old, stranded on a rapidly shrinking ice floe. Nanu, as she mentally named him, was a heartbreaking sight. His once pristine white fur was stained with dark, oily patches, a stark testament to the pollution seeping into his world. His breathing was shallow, ragged gasps against the biting wind, each exhale a fragile wisp of vapor against the endless white. Anya's breath hitched. She'd seen this before, too many times. Cubs left orphaned, their mothers unable to hunt on the dwindling ice, their bodies succumbing to hypothermia and the insidious creep of toxins. The Arctic, once a cradle of life, was becoming a graveyard. Anya's mind flashed back to a previous rescue attempt, a cub named Luna, whose eyes had held the same desperate plea for survival. Luna hadn't made it. The memory was a raw, festering wound, a constant reminder of Anya's limitations, her inability to single-handedly halt the catastrophic changes ravaging the Arctic. She pushed the memory aside, focusing on the present, on Nanu. "Team, immediate response required," she announced, her voice tight with urgency, the words barely audible above the wind's roar. Polar bear cub, approximately 1 year old, stranded on a diminishing floe. Suspected severe hypothermia and hydrocarbon ingestion. The urgency in her voice was a silent prayer, a desperate plea against the encroaching darkness. The team, a seasoned group of wildlife specialists and Arctic survival experts, responded with practiced efficiency. Their faces, weathered by years of exposure to the elements, were grim, the weight of the task settling heavily on their shoulders. They knew the risks, the dangers of navigating the rapidly deteriorating ice, but they also knew the urgency, the fragile thread of life they were about to grasp. The snowmobile, a powerful machine capable of traversing the treacherous terrain, roared to life, its engine a defiant growl against the wind's lament. Anya, her eyes glued to the drone's feed, navigated, guiding them through the labyrinth of fractured ice. A sudden, violent blizzard swept in, a white wall of snow and wind, reducing visibility to near zero. The snowmobile lurched and swayed, threatening to plunge them into the icy depths below. The team, their faces shielded by thick goggles, gripped the vehicle tightly, their knuckles white. Despite the chaos, Anya maintained her focus, her voice a steady beacon in the swirling white. Nanu's image, his pain-filled eyes, burned into her mind, fueling her determination. They finally reached the shrinking floe, the wind whipping at their faces, the silence broken only by Nanu's weak whimpers. The sight of him, so small and fragile against the vast, indifferent landscape, was heart-wrenching. He was curled into a shivering ball, his body radiating a chilling cold. They carefully lifted him onto the snowmobile, his weight shockingly light, a testament to his starvation. The act ended with the team, a fragile hope flickering amidst the overwhelming sense of despair, racing back towards the mobile veterinary unit, their faces grim, their hearts heavy. The snowmobile, a lifeline against the Arctic's fury, sped across the treacherous ice, its treads biting into the frozen surface. Anya's internal conflict raged, her memories of past failures echoing like a mournful chorus in her mind. Each bump, each jolt, sent a wave of anxiety through her, a fear that they wouldn't make it in time. She was haunted by the faces of cubs she couldn't save, their eyes accusing, their silent cries a constant torment. Flashbacks flickered through her mind, vivid snapshots of her childhood spent with the Inuit communities. They had welcomed her into their world, sharing their deep connection to the land, their profound respect for the animals they shared it with. They had taught her the language of the ice, the secrets of the wind, the rhythms of the Arctic. She remembered their stories, tales of a time when the ice was a solid, unbroken bridge, when the polar bears roamed freely, their numbers strong. Now the stories were turning into lamentations, the ice was melting, and the kings of the Arctic were dying. The team encountered a gaping crevasse, a dark, yawning chasm in the ice, a stark reminder of the instability of their surroundings. They were forced to take a detour, a longer, more perilous route, navigating through a maze of fractured ice floes and treacherous pressure ridges. Time was slipping away, each passing minute a potential death sentence for Nanu. His breathing grew more labored, his body convulsing with shivers, a desperate attempt to generate warmth. Anya, her movements precise and desperate, administered emergency medication, her hands trembling with a mix of cold and fear. The team members exchanged worried glances, their voices hushed, their expressions grim. They were all too familiar with the signs of impending loss. They had seen too many cubs succumb to the Arctic's harsh realities, their lives extinguished by the cold and the toxins seeping into their world. They reached the mobile veterinary unit, a small, heated sanctuary amidst the frozen wasteland, and rushed Nanu inside, their movements filled with a desperate urgency. The mobile veterinary unit, a cramped space filled with the rhythmic beeping of medical equipment, became a battleground for Nanu's life. The air was thick with the sterile scent of antiseptic and the faint metallic tang of blood. Anya and her team worked with frantic efficiency, their movements a well-rehearsed dance of desperation. They administered fluids, monitored his vital signs, their eyes glued to the flickering monitors, their expressions etched with a mixture of hope and anxiety. Anya's expertise, honed through years of experience and countless heartbreaks, was on full display. She performed a complex procedure to stabilize Nanu's condition, her hands moving with a surgeon's precision, her focus unwavering. The team members, their faces etched with concern, offered support, their voices hushed, their movements efficient and synchronized. Anya's internal monologue revealed her growing emotional attachment to Nanu. He wasn't just another cub, another statistic in the ever-growing list of casualties. He was a symbol of the Arctic's fragility, a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of human inaction. Her determination to save him became deeply personal, a way to atone for past failures, to prove that hope was still possible, that even in the face of overwhelming odds, life could prevail. For a brief, fleeting moment, a flicker of hope ignited. Nanu's vital signs showed a slight improvement, a small victory against the overwhelming odds. The act ended with a collective sigh of relief, a moment of fragile peace in the midst of the storm, a testament to the resilience of life. Anya, her body aching with exhaustion, her mind reeling from the intensity of the past few hours, stepped outside the unit, seeking a moment of respite. The vast, desolate landscape stretched before her, a silent testament to the changing Arctic. The wind, though still biting, seemed to have softened, carrying with it a sense of ancient wisdom. She encountered an Inuit elder, his face weathered and wise, his eyes reflecting the deep connection to the land that had been passed down through generations. The elder spoke of the past, of a time when the ice was a solid, unbroken expanse, when the polar bears roamed freely, their numbers strong, their presence a symbol of the Arctic's vitality. He spoke of the delicate balance of nature, of the interconnectedness of all things, of the respect that humans owed to the land and its creatures. His words, though gentle, carried a stark warning, a reminder of the consequences of human greed and indifference. Flashbacks flooded Anya's mind, vivid memories of her childhood spent with the Inuit communities, learning their ways, understanding their deep respect for the land and its creatures. She remembered their stories, their songs, their connection to the spirits of the Arctic. The elder's words resonated with her, reinforcing her commitment to protecting this fragile ecosystem, to honoring the traditions and knowledge of the Inuit people. Returning to the unit, her resolve strengthened, Anya noticed a subtle change in Nanu's condition, a faint tremor, a slight irregularity in his breathing, a sign of potential complications. A sense of unease settled over her, a premonition of impending danger. She made a difficult decision, initiating a risky, experimental treatment, a desperate gamble to save Nanu's life, a testament to her unwavering commitment. The experimental treatment took effect, Nanu's condition fluctuating wildly, a roller coaster ride of hope and despair. The monitor displayed erratic readings, a chaotic dance of vital signs, a visual representation of the battle being waged within his small body. Anya and her team watched with bated breath, their faces etched with anxiety, their eyes glued to the flickering numbers, their bodies tense with anticipation. Anya's internal monologue revealed her growing doubts, her fears of failure resurfacing with renewed intensity. She questioned her decisions, her expertise, her ability to make a difference in the face of such overwhelming odds. The team members, sensing her inner turmoil, offered words of encouragement, their voices filled with unwavering support, their presence a silent reassurance. Nanu's condition stabilized, a collective sigh of relief echoing through the unit. The tension eased, replaced by a fragile sense of hope. Anya, her eyes filled with a mix of exhaustion and relief, shared a moment of quiet connection with Nanu, her hand gently stroking his fur, her touch a silent promise of protection. Nanu's recovery progressed, his strength slowly returning. He began to respond to their touch, his eyes filled with a glimmer of life, his movements less labored. He even managed a weak growl, a sound that filled the unit with a sense of triumph. Anya and her team provided him with nourishment, carefully measured portions of nutrient-rich formula, their movements gentle and caring, their voices soft and soothing. Close-ups of Nanu's playful interactions with the team, his clumsy attempts to stand, his curious gaze, filled the unit with a sense of joy, a reminder of the resilience of life. Anya's internal monologue revealed her growing sense of joy, her emotional bond with Nanu deepening. He was no longer just a patient, a scientific specimen. He was a living, breathing creature, a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of compassion. The team members celebrated Nanu's progress, their voices filled with a sense of shared accomplishment, their faces beaming with pride. Anya began to plan for Nanu's release, her thoughts turning to his future in the changing Arctic. She knew that his chances of survival were slim, but she refused to give up hope. She envisioned him returning to the wild, a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope in a world facing unprecedented challenges. Anya contemplating the fragility of life and the importance of conservation, her heart filled with a bittersweet mix of joy and apprehension, a silent prayer for Nanu's future. A sudden violent storm descended upon the Arctic, the wind howling like a banshee, the snow blinding, the temperature plummeting. The mobile veterinary unit, a fragile bubble of warmth and light, was rocked by the fierce winds, the power flickering ominously, the rhythmic beeping of the medical equipment becoming erratic. Nanu's condition took a sudden, alarming turn for the worse, his breathing becoming labored, his body convulsing with shivers, a desperate attempt to generate warmth. Anya and her team struggled to maintain his vital signs, battling against the elements and the failing equipment. Close-ups of the monitor, the erratic fluctuations of Nanu's vital signs mirroring the chaos outside, created a sense of impending doom. Anya's internal monologue revealed her growing fear, her sense of impending loss returning with renewed intensity, a chilling premonition of tragedy. The team members, their faces illuminated by the flickering emergency lights, worked with desperate urgency, their movements a frantic dance against time, their voices hushed with concern. A blinding flash of light followed by a deafening silence. The medical equipment sputtered and failed, plunging the unit into darkness, leaving them stranded in the heart of the storm. In the suffocating darkness, Anya and her team relied on their instincts and their intimate knowledge of Nanu's condition. They moved with a desperate, almost primal rhythm, their movements guided by touch and intuition, their senses heightened by the darkness and the urgency of the situation. They used manual resuscitation techniques, their hands moving with a frantic, almost desperate precision, their bodies fueled by adrenaline and unwavering determination. Close-ups of their faces, illuminated by the faint glow of emergency lights, revealed their unwavering determination, their refusal to surrender to the darkness and the encroaching despair. Anya's internal monologue revealed her unwavering commitment to Nanu, her refusal to let him become another statistic, another victim of human negligence. The team members, their voices hushed, their movements synchronized, offered silent support, their shared purpose a beacon in the darkness, a testament to the power of human compassion. Nanu's breathing became increasingly shallow, his life hanging by a thread, his body growing cold and still. Anya, her heart pounding in her chest, her hands trembling with exhaustion, made a final, desperate attempt to revive him, her movements a frantic plea against the inevitable. The act ended with a tense, agonizing silence, the fate of Nanu hanging in the balance, the darkness heavy with unspoken grief. The medical equipment remained stubbornly silent, the darkness heavy and suffocating, the silence broken only by the howling wind and the rhythmic drip of melting ice. Anya and her team stood in stunned silence, their faces etched with grief, their bodies heavy with exhaustion, their hearts heavy with loss. Anya's internal monologue revealed her profound sense of loss, her feelings of guilt and helplessness overwhelming. She questioned her abilities, her purpose, her place in this desolate landscape, her voice a silent lament for a life lost too soon. The team members, sensing her despair, offered words of comfort, their voices filled with shared sorrow, their presence a silent acknowledgement of the tragedy. Anya, her heart heavy with grief, her eyes filled with tears, stepped outside the unit, into the raging storm. The wind howled a mournful lament, echoing the emptiness within her, a chilling symphony of loss. She gazed at the vast, desolate landscape, her eyes filled with tears, her soul heavy with grief. The storm finally subsided, the sun breaking through the clouds, casting a golden light across the ice, a fragile beauty amidst the devastation. The Arctic, though still harsh and unforgiving, was bathed in a surreal, ethereal glow, a stark contrast to the darkness of the previous night. Anya, her face etched with a quiet resolve, her eyes filled with a steely determination, returned to the research station. She began to document her findings, her voice filled with a sense of urgency, her words a testament to Nanu's life and death, a plea for action. Flashbacks revealed Anya's unwavering commitment to raising awareness about the plight of the Arctic, her determination to make a difference, to honor Nanu's memory. Her internal monologue revealed her resolve to fight for the future of the Arctic, to ensure that his death was not in vain, to transform her grief into action. She shared her story with the world, her voice filled with passion and conviction, her words a powerful call to action. She urged viewers to take responsibility for the changing Arctic, to understand the devastating consequences of their actions, to embrace a future of sustainability and conservation. She spoke of the interconnectedness of all living things, of the responsibility that humans have to protect the planet, of the urgent need for change. Weeks had passed since Nanu's passing, yet the research station felt different, a somber echo of the frantic energy that had once filled it. Anya Volkov, her eyes etched with a weariness that went beyond physical exhaustion, sat hunched over her laptop, meticulously reviewing the data collected during Nanu's rescue. The rhythmic whir of the hard drive was the only sound in the otherwise silent room. She was searching for patterns, for subtle clues that might illuminate the cub's rapid decline, for any insight that could improve future rescue efforts. The emotional toll was heavy. Sleep offered little respite, haunted by vivid flashbacks of Nanu's labored breathing, the sterile scent of the vet unit, the agonizing silence that followed his passing. A deep sense of responsibility weighed on her, a feeling that she had failed, despite her best efforts. Then came the messages. Anya's video, a raw, unfiltered account of Nanu's struggle, had gone viral. Messages of support flooded her inbox, but so did criticism and skepticism. News reports, social media posts, and heated online debates swirled around the video, a cacophony of voices dissecting her actions, questioning her motives. Anya felt a strange detachment, watching her life play out on screens, her grief a public spectacle. An unexpected invitation arrived, a speaking slot at a major environmental summit. Anya hesitated. The thought of facing a room full of politicians and activists, of reliving Nanu's story in front of a global audience, was daunting. But the image of Nanu's eyes filled with a silent plea spurred her on. She had a platform, a chance to amplify her message, to make Nanu's death mean something. While reviewing satellite imagery of the Arctic, Anya noticed an anomaly, a concentrated cluster of polar bear activity in a region previously thought to be barren. The imagery also revealed a disturbing level of industrial pollution in the same area. A chilling suspicion formed in her mind, a potential breeding ground, but also a new insidious threat. She decided to organize a new expedition, a mission to investigate the region and assess the situation. This time, she wanted to do things differently. She reached out to her team, their loyalty unwavering, but also to a group of young, passionate environmental activists, their energy and idealism a refreshing contrast to her own seasoned cynicism. She wanted to involve a new generation, to ignite their passion for the Arctic, to empower them to take action. The expedition began, the team navigating the treacherous ice, their snowmobiles carving a path through the vast white wilderness. The journey was arduous, battling unpredictable weather, navigating treacherous pressure ridges and enduring the biting cold. Anya, her eyes scanning the horizon, shared her knowledge and experiences, mentoring the young activists, instilling in them a deep respect for the Arctic's delicate balance. The dynamics between the seasoned professionals and the young activists were fascinating, a mix of tension and synergy. The professionals, hardened by years of experience, approached the mission with a cautious pragmatism. The activists, fueled by idealism and a sense of urgency, were eager to take risks, to push boundaries. Anya found herself playing the role of mediator, bridging the gap between their differing perspectives, fostering a sense of unity. They reached the designated region, a hidden sanctuary amidst the vast expanse of ice. The landscape was breathtaking, a pristine wilderness teeming with life. They observed a significant number of polar bears, including mothers with cubs, confirming Anya's suspicion of a breeding ground. The sight of the cubs, playful and innocent, filled Anya with a bittersweet joy, a reminder of Nanu and the fragility of life. However, the idyllic scene was marred by the devastating effects of pollution. They witnessed sick and weakened bears, their bodies emaciated, their movements lethargic. They found contaminated water sources, the ice stained with dark, oily patches, the air thick with the acrid smell of chemicals. A pervasive sense of unease settled over the team, a chilling premonition of the destruction to come. Amidst the grim reality, they encountered a healthy polar bear family, a mother and her two cubs, their fur gleaming in the sunlight, their eyes bright and alert. They observed their behavior, documenting their interactions, gathering valuable data. Anya's emotional connection to the bears deepened, reinforcing her determination to protect them, to ensure that their future was not tainted by human greed. Then they discovered the source of the pollution, a clandestine industrial operation, hidden behind a facade of scientific research. They witnessed the dumping of toxic waste into the Arctic waters, the plumes of black smoke billowing into the pristine air. The team was faced with a difficult decision: expose the operation and risk their safety, or remain silent and allow the destruction to continue. After consulting the team, Anya made the difficult decision to expose the source. They gathered evidence, documenting the pollution and its impact on the wildlife, their movements cautious, their voices hushed. Anya and her team used their communication skills and social media expertise to expose the illegal operation, sharing their findings with the world, sparking outrage and demanding action. The story spread like wildfire, igniting a global movement against the perpetrators. Social media platforms buzzed with hashtags and calls for justice. News outlets ran scathing reports, and environmental organizations condemned the industrial operation. The industrial operation retaliated, attempting to discredit Anya and her team, spreading misinformation and launching personal attacks. They painted Anya as an alarmist, her team as radical activists, their findings as fabricated. Anya became a target of online harassment and threats, her resolve tested by the relentless attacks. The young activists rallied around her, using their digital skills to counter the misinformation, to amplify Anya's message, to expose the lies and manipulation. They created viral videos, shared compelling infographics, and organized online petitions, their voices a powerful force against the corporate propaganda. The Inuit elders, their wisdom and resilience a beacon of hope, offered their support. They shared their traditional knowledge, reminding Anya of the importance of perseverance, of the interconnectedness of all things, of the enduring power of the human spirit. Public pressure mounted, forcing authorities to investigate the illegal operation. Anya and her team were invited to testify before a parliamentary committee, sharing their findings. demanding stricter environmental regulations. They faced hostile questioning, their credibility challenged, their motives questioned. But Anya, her voice firm and unwavering, stood her ground, her words a testament to her unwavering commitment. Anya delivered a powerful speech, her voice filled with passion and conviction, her words resonating with millions around the world. She spoke of Nanu, of the Arctic's fragility, of the urgent need for change. She inspired hope, ignited a global movement, and reminded the world that even in the face of overwhelming odds, one person can make a difference. However, the victory came at a personal cost. Anya received devastating news. A close friend, a fellow wildlife researcher, had been involved in a fatal accident, most likely caused by the industrial operation. The news added a layer of personal loss to Anya's struggle, reminding her of the sacrifices made in the fight for justice. The investigation into the industrial operation, fueled by global outrage and Anya's compelling testimony, concluded with swift and decisive action. The clandestine operation was shut down, its executives facing criminal charges. The Arctic waters slowly began to heal. Anya and her team, exhausted but victorious, celebrated their hard-won triumph. Yet the celebration was bittersweet. Nanu's image, his innocent eyes, remained etched in their minds, a poignant reminder of the lives lost and the ongoing struggle. The loss of Anya's friend, a casualty of the very forces they fought against, cast a long shadow over their victory. From the ashes of this struggle, a legacy of hope emerged. Anya, along with the young activists, established the Nanu Foundation, dedicated to protecting the Arctic and its wildlife. They launched educational programs, research initiatives, and community outreach projects, empowering a new generation of environmental stewards. Anya returned to the research station, her heart filled with a renewed sense of purpose, her grief transformed into a driving force for change. The Arctic, though scarred, began to show signs of resilience. The midnight sun bathed the landscape in a warm golden glow, revealing a panorama of breathtaking beauty. Healthy polar bear families thrived, their cubs playful and energetic. Clean water sources, once tainted with toxins, shimmered in the sunlight. A sense of hope, fragile yet persistent, permeated the air. Anya, her gaze fixed on the horizon, reflected on the journey. She thought of Nanu, a symbol of the Arctic's vulnerability, and of the countless others who had suffered. She thought of her friend, a martyr in the fight for justice. She thought of the young activists, their passion and idealism a beacon of hope for the future. She realized that their victory was not just about shutting down an illegal operation, it was about igniting a global movement, about inspiring a collective awakening. As she watched a new polar bear cub, its fur gleaming white, playfully chased its mother across the ice. Its innocent eyes, filled with curiosity and wonder, mirrored the spirit of the Arctic, a spirit of resilience and hope. A sense of peace settled over Anya, a feeling that Nanu's death had not been in vain, that his sacrifice had sparked a change, a ripple effect that would continue to spread across the globe.